There's this notion that the Bronx is dangerous. It's okay to just like be in the community and not make any photos.
It just look like the old this, man.
Pour into your city. Like, show up.
All right, we back with another episode of Walkie Talkie. We got the homie Daniel.
Yes.
Daniel, introduce yourself, let the people know where we're at, where you from, and anything else you want to tell them.
Yeah, I'm Daniel Emuna. I'm from the Bronx. I currently reside in Mount Vernon, Westchester, but it's basically a satellite of the Bronx. So I brought Paulie out today to 205 off of Grand Concourse. It's a very culturally rich area. Something I love to do is document culture. I consider myself to be a visual anthropologist. So that means kind of looking into the cultural nuance of people, sitting with them, kind of a slow process to my work. So yeah, I'm excited to show you around. You mind if I snap a quick pic? Is that cool? Beautiful. Enjoying lunch? Lovely. Enjoy, girls. Bye. So yeah, I love to engage with people. I don't typically like to just snap off. And no shame with that. Like, it's cool. I know that's what you do a lot, but I think it's nice to make a little connection with people, even if it's just a moment, So yeah, I find myself usually waiting for certain days where there's an event, and then I make sure I'm there to like document people being fully what they want to express in their culture.
When you ask, people typically say yes. So like, what's that like success rate?
I try not to think about it because I don't think about it through like, ratios like that. It's about the moment. If they're comfortable and like we lean into it, amazing. If they don't, that's also amazing because again, it's consent. I don't have to walk away with the photo. And if I like give them a compliment, they're like, oh, like thank you, and like I don't get the photo, I got to give a compliment. You know what I mean? And I got to exchange love, and I feel good in that way. The more I think about it, like your body of work is a documentation of your own personal journey. And so, I don't know, I get very spiritual, and I believe that like, in some ways our path might be written. And so the photos you're meant to make will come to you, like no matter what. I used to be a bit more like, I guess, attached to the result of the photo. But after having so many exchanges with so many people in different contexts of which I was a little nervous and kind of got over it, I realized like, oh, like A, I'll be all right with rejection, and B, like the photo that is meant to matter and happen will happen. So,
You mentioned before that a big part of your work is kind of documenting the cultures, the different kinds of cultures around the city or around the world too, because you travel.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
When and how did you decide that was like going to be part of your work or a major part of it?
That's a great question. It's a little convoluted, but basically I had this idea where I wanted to show people who are not from New York the cultural diversity of New York. And so I bought a camera. It was a Panasonic G7 to do video, to actually kind of vlog my experiences going around the city and connecting with different cultures. So I did that for a while, actually. I went to the Hasidic community out in Brooklyn. I went to the Punjabi community in Queens, and then I would come out to Grand Concourse a lot to immerse myself in the African diaspora here. I didn't really know how to do video that well. So I ended up just making more portraits of people over time, and I found that people really resonated with my portrait work. That kind of grew, and then I studied the different, photographers over the years, like Dorothy Lange and Daoud Bey, Louis Hines, like people who intentionally went out of their way to document various marginalized voices, marginalized people. And I really aligned with that. Me, myself, I'm Jamaican, and our diaspora throughout New York is huge, However, I feel like there's just more nuance to our story that needs to be told. Even personally, growing up here, there was a bit of a disconnect with Jamaican heritage. So I did travel out to Jamaica, to the Caribbean. I traveled out to London last summer to document Carnival and connect with the Jamaican diaspora there. Yeah, long story short, my work is meant to essentially bring more nuance and context to the African diaspora at large. There's this notion that the Bronx is dangerous. It's really not. Like, if you look straight ahead, the kid is like playing with his ball and he's having a good time. Like, there's churches, there's schools. Like, I went to a private school out here. I went to a private Catholic school, like in the Bronx. I know a lot of people are thinking like, oh my God, like the Bronx is dangerous, the Bronx is burning. Like I shouldn't go, but trust me, it's it's a huge borough, and it's 2023. Like, it's not that bad.
How do you balance people who are not part of a community coming into a community and like kind of just documenting it for themselves?
That's where I think consent comes into it. There's layers to it. Like, people are trying to build a career and build a portfolio and gain whatever they believe to be success in the photography world. And I think that is okay. It is a business, it is an art, and you should be able to make a living. However, there's layers to ethics involved. When you come into a community, make beautiful work, and you sell it for like $10,000 a piece, and it's a marginalized community, an economically impoverished community, I think you should sit down and question, like, okay, was it right for me to take all this money and pocket it, having just come in and taken something? There's language around this too, like you come in and you take a photo. Of course there's violent language, right? Like photo shoot, but you're making a photo. It's an exchange. It's a gesture of appreciation and consideration. It's communication, and that goes beyond just the shutter. It goes into the relationship. It goes into so much more. So, how you doing today?
All right.
You good? Can I ask you a quick question? Could I make a photo of you? You just have a beautiful look, and please, ma, do me a favor on this Sunday.
Oh, no.
Just one photo.
No.
Woo, you gonna make me sad, please? Okay. No, enjoy. All right, take care. So we spoke about rejection. I really wanted the photo though. She was beautiful. There's also a way about going about like asking for a photo, which you're probably aware of. I feel like when they know you really want it, like they kind of don't want to make the photo with you. But if it's kind of like chill, like you could leave and it's all right, then usually you find people want to make the photo with you. In that moment, I was like, oh my God, she was beautiful. But we'll find something else. It's usually very slow for me. I personally don't I don't have to walk away with like 1,000 photos. And again, for me, the photos are kind of secondary. It's more about being in the space, being observant. And then if a photo comes from that, that's a blessing. After maybe 2021, going into 2022, I started to think about getting outside of New York and going to different places. So that's when I headed to London and Trinidad last February. Being out here and photographing New York City, I got to apply some of the street photography sessions that I've learned out there. And I was a little nervous. I didn't know that it would translate so seamlessly, but it did, it's the same. I feel like Trinidad especially reminded me a lot of New York. The energy, the flow, the fact that people are like waking up trying to make a buck. It's just a very warm, humid version of New York. You have your sketchy areas, you have your very wealthy areas, it's the same. I've made photos that I'm really proud of in that moment. And again, when I look at it, I look at relationships and people I've connected with,
Is there anything that didn't translate well? What was an obstacle that you had to kind of get over while traveling out?
Honestly, everything translated well. I had an easier time, honestly, in terms of making photos. I had an easier time out there. People would jump around, people would jump up and ask for their photo, and I usually carry a huge Pentax 6.7 with a zoom lens, so it's obnoxiously big. And I'll be walking by and I'd make eye contact with someone and be like, photographer, come over here, sir. And I'll be like, okay. They'd be like, so you want to take a photo? And I'd be like, yeah. And so we'd make a photo in the moment. We'd exchange WhatsApp and I would send them the photos. There were times in which I was I would have to pursue. So I'd see a beautiful situation off in the distance and I would kind of run over and pursue it. And in New York, I kind of sometimes expect reservation, but I'd run over and ask for a photo and they'd be like, of course, yeah. And then they would pose and they would give me as much time as I needed. Yeah. And that was beautiful. Jamaica's a little different though. Jamaica is, so every Caribbean island, every place you go to has its own rhythm and vibration when it comes to how people move. And people are a bit more guarded in Jamaica. You'd find a lot more people saying no. I do have to go back and spend more time in Jamaica though, because I had 2 weeks in Trinidad. Let me plug Dawood Bey. I really align with him personally as a photographer because he picked up the camera and he had questions about community and identity. He didn't really know what he was doing, but he decided to come out to Harlem and see what he can capture every day. At first, he walked away with pretty bad photos, and he was upset with that because, again, back then it was film. I mean, we still shoot film, but it was a long process. What he started to do was put the camera aside and just spend time in the community, make sure his presence was known, and then he would find himself gaining access over time, and he would soon be able to pose people in certain ways and walk away with images that he was actually happy with. And due to that process, he moved from like 35 mil to medium format to large format. He's known for his beautiful like large format works now of different peoples in the city and whatnot. Yeah, I made sure to pick up a book by Dawood Bey and study his process with communities.
Is there a specific book that you think people would benefit from?
Yeah, so Aperture published a book of essays and photos from Dawood Bey called On Photographing Communities. And I would highly recommend every street photographer to pick up that book. A friend of mine, Alejandro, actually recommended that to me. And yeah, it changed my perspective. It's okay to just like be in the community and not make any photos until the time is right. Hello. Hi, do you mind if I make one photo?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wonderful, thank you so much. Appreciate you. Beautiful. Love the colors of this situation here. It's wonderful. All right, have a good one. Take care, bye. Wow, look, hold on. Where we at? Bedford Park Grand Concourse. You can get all your fresh mango, oranges, plátanos. ¿Cómo te llama? Erika. Okay, I want to shout out Erika and her fruit stand. We're making a video. Yes, it is just, you have so much here. It looks beautiful. Fresh fruit. Bedford Park Grand Concourse. Erika. Take care. Yeah, support Black and brown business. Don't go to Whole Foods. If you live in Williamsburg or Greenpoint or whatever, get on the train and make your way out all the way here to see Erika in the Bronx. I'm serious. Pour into your city. Like, show up. If you've moved here from wherever and are like, okay, I'm gonna live this New York City experience and, push people out due to gentrification, the work you gotta do is invest into local economies. Like, intentionally don't fuck with Whole Foods or whatnot. Like, I understand, buying the occasional whatever, but come out to, your local businesses and support. Like, your dollar goes so much farther. It goes directly to this person in their community and their livelihood. It allows them to pay for rent, which is rising like crazy out here, so.
You got any favorite bodies of work that come from the Bronx? Maybe even of maybe Bronx photographers?
Bronx photographers,
Yeah.
Let me think. I think number one that comes up is Flor Dalis, Espinal, but she goes by, Flor Dalis on Instagram. She's put in a lot of work in photographing communities and all that. Yo, real quick. Y'all look busy, but my friend's making a video right now, just like the Bronx and the culture up here. Can we make a photo of y'all real quick? Is that cool? Okay, no problem, man. Take care. Flor Dalis. So Flor would have got that photo.
Yeah.
So here's the thing about it too, closer you are to the community in every way, chances are the easier it is for you to get a genuine connection and make something beautiful. And Flor lives in this area and she's of the community deeply, more than I am. I was born here, but I don't really live here. Hey, how you doing, man? How you feeling? You good?
Yeah.
Is it cool if I make a photo of you?
Listo.
Is that okay?
Ahí paso. Nos vemos el miércoles. Ok, dale. Y nos vamos.
Yeah, with the flowers, that's nice. 1, 2. Yes, beautiful. Lovely. Gracias, hermano. Appreciate you. You look great, you look cool. Can I make a photo real quick? No? Okay, no problem. ¿Se puede sacar una foto? No? Okay, no problem. I gotta get my Spanish up, man. Mi español es muy mal, pero I'm trying. Sometimes I would practice, like I would walk around and just practice certain languages.
Yeah.
But I'm rusty, man. So yeah, this is the major concourse off of Fordham Road. Yeah. Definitely more action, you know? Even still, it's not as busy as it usually is. So out here, I might do a bit more like just snapping off, honestly. Talking about like changing your approach. I still try to have that eye contact and like, you know, let people know, but it's such a fast moving spot to like stop somebody in this space.
Do you feel that happens often where you have to, your approach changes with the pace of the environment? Yeah?
Or the energy of the environment for sure. Or like something happening really fast like that, like, you know, you have to jump into it. If you're used to the pacing of like Times Square or like the Soho area or whatever, and like that's your vibe, I think coming out to this area, like Fordham Road, Grand Concourse, is definitely like for you. A lot of characters, a lot of little stories, moments. You can shoot your 28, you can go wide. You know, a photographer I'd recommend you check out is Giancarlo Valentine. He actually lived up here for a while. I think he moved recently. But as he lived here, again, he was here every day, spending time. And he started to document people in this intimate way that I think evokes Dawood Bey and some of those people that I respect. You know, I'm not the best photographer in the world. I like a lot of the images I make, but you know, for me, the technical and the whole photographer pursuit is secondary. It's, I think, the responsibility of documenting that I'm really into.
Do you have a goal
you know?
with your photography?
I have a goal with stories. I want to get more deep and kind of like layered with my storytelling in general, and I want to make films. You know, I want to learn about, again, like the Ethiopian Orthodox Church and the layers there, and maybe make a film about it. I want to learn about, you know, how, you know, the Latino community have ingrained themselves in New York, you know, after, you know, their periods of like trials and tribulations. I'm just curious about people's stories, you know, and when I see a photo of a place or a person, for me, it's less about how beautiful the photo is, although I appreciate it, but I want to know the story.
We talked a little bit about photo books earlier. What are like 3 photo books you'd recommend to other people just to broaden their library and mind and grow their photography?
Joseph Rodriguez, Spanish Harlem, definitely a must. Can I get a quick photo, y'all? Is that cool? Can I get a quick photo, y'all?
Yeah, no problem.
Awesome. Good looks. Love it. Nice. Let me get one more for the backdrop. Yeah, look, one more close. Yeah. I know this ain't a photo shoot. But I appreciate y'all.
No doubt.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Have a good one. Yeah, Spanish Harlem is the reason why, you know, I don't know, it's a community, you know, and why not learn about this community? If you love photos and, you know, you want to experience beautiful imagery, why not learn something in the process? So he showed up with interest and he made a connection, and I think that is super beautiful.
Tattoos. Come inside.
Let me think, what else? It's Elijah, obviously. Pick up Elijah's book. Ready for the Road. Yeah. Ready for the Road, you gotta get. I looked through it still. It dropped like, 5 months ago. Really cool images of Carnival. How you doing, bro? Quick photo, is that cool? No? Okay, no problem. I'm actually working on a book right now on Carnival.
Okay.
So it's called Across the Pond, and it's about the Carnival tradition here in Brooklyn, and then in Notting Hill, London, and then Port of Spain, Trinidad. That was the reason why I traveled to these different places for this project. This is my first swing at having a photo book myself. The publishing process is pretty daunting because you have to find someone who knows how to put your book together and distribute it, and it's pretty pricey too. But I believe in the work, you know.
If the stages are 1 through 10, what stage do you feel like you're at in that book process? Like 1 is like, oh, I want to make a book, and 10 is like, buy my book.
I'm at 6, so I have the images and they're sorted out. I'm able to look at it like in front of me, but I think I need to find the person who could help me get it together. There's a photographer, shout out to Raheem Fortune. He told me it's always worth it to go and try to get your book published versus doing it yourself. So I'm gonna try to get it published so it could actually be in people's homes and have a wide distribution. But yeah, I just wanted people to find it in their hands and not have to go to my platform.
Yeah. So why a book and not a zine or like a print series or like a gallery?
Good question, yeah. So when I went to the Bronx Documentary Center's portfolio review, there was someone there who saw my work and he brought up a bunch of books from different people who has done similar work. And he said, you know, something I'd recommend to you is, again, publishing, making a body of work to show different photo editors and whatnot, what you do and who you are in your photography. You could definitely do so through a zine, but I think there's an element of which I want to also let myself accept the fact that my work is good enough to be in a book, to be picked up in, you know, Strand's bookstore or McNally Books or whatever, and for people to bring home and like cherish it themselves, you know? I think it deserves to be published. So why not go for it, you know? If you're a publisher, yo, reach out to me.
Yeah, reach out.
I can give you my email or hit me up, hit my DMs, and we can get talking, you know? I feel like you can make a lot of money, you know what I mean? But we could also make the community a lot of money. Something I want to do with this Trinidad project, or rather, through Carnival, in this book, I want to make sure the proceeds go to getting tools for people back in Trinidad to document their own culture. Something I saw out there was this little kid with his like Canon crop sensor camera, you know, this huge camera just like in their face, documenting himself. He was like this small. And yeah, I thought that was the most beautiful thing because you don't find a lot of photographers in that space who are from Trinidad, but to find this like little kid telling this story of Carnival was really inspiring. It's just hard to come by a camera, you know, out there, like a camera less hefty and nice as like the ones we're carrying. A bit of the profits for that book, I'm hoping to put into that.
I like that. And that goes back to what you were saying before. It's like when you photograph underprivileged places, you gotta give back.
You have to give back. You have to think about it.
Yeah.
You know, you have to just consider the layers of the process beyond just the photos or the output.
Wait, do you have a photograph of yours that's your favorite?
Yeah.
You do? Which one is it? Go through it.
I'm not saying it just because we're in the Bronx, but I'm saying it because it really was my favorite moment. So maybe 2 blocks from here, not too far, I was walking up and I saw this dude. He had a really cool fit and he was smoking a cigarette. And I asked if I could make his image and he said sure, and he kept smoking and he just posed, you know, while smoking a cigarette. And we started talking and I said, you know, what are you waiting for? And he was waiting for his daughter who was sick at a nearby hospital. And we just started talking about life and where we're at and what we're navigating and kind of pouring life into each other. Yeah, I made more images of him as we were talking, and then his daughter came out and his girlfriend, and I got images of the family. And there was just a lot of smiles and like love, and it was satisfying in so many ways. And it was a clean image. It was just a beautiful image. And when I look back at it, I'm like, yeah, that's my best photo for sure. You want to sit down for a little bit?
You want to?
Yeah. Sometimes I just like to take a break and like recenter myself. I want to talk about introversion and photography. So I'm oftentimes interpreted as an extrovert by my friends and family and just people. I'm an introvert. I'm always in my mind. I'm always thinking about like the situation and what is there beyond the surface. You know, I need time to like reset and recalibrate at moments, at you know, certain moments. And I think a lot of us creatives are the same. We might stop and get like a drink somewhere or like some pizza or whatever and just kind of like decompress. I gotta ask, can I make a photo, y'all? While you're like waiting here? Is that cool? Yeah? Yeah. Yeah, yes sir. Oh. There we go. Appreciate you, King. Respect. Respect, man.
Do you feel like your photography helps with your introversion or amplifies your introversion? Like after a long day, you're completely exhausted, right? Because of all the interaction you're doing.
Oh man, I'm condensing a lot of what I do in this moment right now. Usually it's a lot slower than this.
Yeah.
But it depends on the quality of the exchange. Like, if I sat down with someone, like this, for instance, like we're chilling, we're talking, and I do feel like rejuvenated. But if there's like a lot of like new moments and connections and all these things, I'm a little overwhelmed, and it does kind of mentally drain me. But overall, I would say that street photographing and documentary work has helped my introversion quite a bit. I don't fear talking to people at all. There's just more connections I have, and I have more community after a day out. Something I would usually do, and I don't do as much anymore, is ask for people's information to give them the photo afterward. The reason I don't do it as much nowadays is I've found that like sometimes in a moment on the street, people are passing from here to there, and they're kind of offering you the grace of a photo. So it's like, yeah, you can make my photo, and like, you know, that happens. But they don't want to keep going, you know? They just want the moment to exist. I would find that like, I would sit down with people, we exchange information, and like, some people would be excited. Some people would be like, nah, man, like, I'm just chilling, do your thing. So I kind of let people tell me if they want the photo or not. All right, I think our guy is here. Yo, all right, man. See you soon. Drissa, some dude I met at an Ivorian restaurant not too far from here. Really cool guy. Back then I was photographing with a Yashica, like a TLR, and he saw it. He was like, "Are you a photographer? I'm a model. I want to do this thing." And I'm like, "Yeah, let's link up." So we made really cool images in the South Bronx. Express his story as well. So there was something I was doing a while ago where I would make photos of someone, and then I would add text in the kind of photo set on Instagram to express who they are and what they have to say. We've kept pretty close throughout this time. He is Muslim. Ramadan is ending next week or so. And his family in Ivory Coast sent him an outfit to kind of celebrate. So we're gonna make photos of him in the outfit. Yo, yo, yo. Long time, bro. Man, good to see you.
What's up, man?
It's been a minute, bro. So tell me about the fit. See, you got the leather shoes.
This fit it's called Bazin. It's actually originally from Mali.
Mali.
Yeah. The Ivorian culture is mixed with two countries, which is Ghana and Mali.
Interesting. I didn't know that, man.
Yep. Ivory Coast.
Yeah.
Ivorian people come from Ghana, actually.
Really?
Yep.
So you're basically like a cousin to Ghanaians.
Yep.
So, I love the green.
Yeah.
And I think it would be cool if we could use some of the green right here, you know, as a backdrop. And then maybe some of the street areas as well. All right, let's post you up right here. So, I like using the natural environment when it comes to my photo shoots. Sometimes I do studio, and studio is great, but to be in the environment, I think could communicate a bit more. I see my man Drissa has the green fit, you know, beautiful, and the white top. And we have some green back here. The weather changed, so it's springtime, we got more green, so yeah, man.
Let's go crazy.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. That's what we do.
Should I sit?
Yeah, you can squat. Yeah, I see what you're about to do. Fire, fire. Look off a little bit. Like, look, yeah. Close your eyes. Look here real quick at the lens. Look right. You got like any accessories, any gold on you, or? Yeah, so let's show that off. And come like right in the middle of this lane right here. And let's like angle your shoulders out like this.
Like that?
Yeah. Step forward a bit. Yeah, exactly. And look here again. Yeah, all right, so let's see if we can find a few other spots. Hey, are you about to get sturdy? That's what you do?
What you know about? Sure.
And here you are. You true Bronx right now. Like,
Bronx is really like home. Like
it's home.
I can live there. I can go to some other spot.
Could you ever see yourself moving? Like going to another city in America or going?
Yeah, because I believe that to progress in life, you must know how to move. You know, you can't
That's right.
progress if you're stuck in one spot. So I believe probably in the future I might have to move, but that don't mean I'm gonna forget about this place or never come back home.
Right.
You know, it's
Classic lean back, you know,
lean back.
hands in pocket. Yep. And I like when you were kind of like thinking, so yeah. No, it's cool. You naturally have these poses that just work, you know, so just do what you do. So, you know, we spend time, get to know each other, connect. Yeah, man. I love like good light, like when it's right.
Oh my God, baby.
Nice. Yep, that's it. You gotta invite me to Eid.
For sure.
Yeah, hit me up.
I got you, man.
I'm not Muslim though, but you know.
I got you.
Like I would love to just be a part of
I
the
got you.
setting, man. I'm working on a project where I want to document every reflection of the African diaspora.
Yeah.
So I consider myself to be a Pan-Africanist. Pan-Africanism was a term made by Marcus Garvey, who was a Jamaican philosopher back in the day. But Pan means all, and then Africa obviously means the continent. It's about how various African-descended people relate to each other and build our community. Africa obviously has been exploited for many, many years, many centuries, and the only way we could really rise is by working together, knowing one another and supporting one another. So the reason why I got to know Drissa is because I had an interest. Again, my Pan-Africanism led me to find Ivorian spots and African spots and connect and appreciate the culture. And he was behind the counter at a Ivorian restaurant. And he saw my camera and he was like, yo, let's make something happen. So this project, I want to showcase every 54 nations of the African continent.
Yeah.
And then the 23 nations, I believe, don't quote me on that, of the Caribbean. New York City, we're gonna find almost every single reflection of that. But there are communities in Seattle, which you wouldn't expect, and DC, and Ohio, and we're all over, So let's go over there real quick. I like the red. Yeah, that's it. Amazing. He's a fire, bro.
It just look like the old days, man.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I was shooting film back then, though. Remember that? It was a lot slower.
What's the difference?
Great question. What's the difference between digital and film?
Yeah.
Film, so this is all electronic.
Uh-huh.
So I get to make as many photos as I want, and it's like, I don't gotta worry about having a limited amount of photos. I could take thousands of photos depending on my memory card. Film, you need a film roll, and we gotta put it in the camera and then wind it like old school. So I can't even see the photos as I'm making it. Like when we linked up, I couldn't see the photos. Yes.
Ew.
So then I had to go and develop the photos, meaning I have to put it through chemistry, and then I have to.
So let's say you took a picture, cause you can't look at the picture, right? Let's say you take a picture and it's blurry. You get that it's blurry. What you do?
I deal with it. Like, if it's blurry, how you doing?
If it's blurry, it's just done.
It's just, that photo's blurry. But same thing with this, like if the photo's blurry, it's blurry. But yeah, I could review and see like, and just do it over again. The corner right here. Exactly. Yeah. Like, kind of post up just like this. Like right here, on this side, Yeah. No, that's good. If you could do like prayer hands as well. Yeah. Like up to your face. Like, and lean your head back. Yeah. Then close your eyes. Lean your head back a bit. Then breathe in deep.
Man, Yeah,
man.
G, I appreciate you, man. For sure.
I feel like you give me like 15
Yo,
daps
you know,
of
like, you know, I'm trapping, man. This how you know you met somebody, bro. Like, I'm telling you, bro. That's how
man.
you know, bro. That's how you know, bro.
Yo, love, man.
Love, always.
Yes.
Bless up.
Yeah.
One last prompt for you. Finish the sentence. I take photos because.
I take photos to connect to people, to really love people, to appreciate people. Time passes, you know, we're passing through. This is a journey. And so as we capture every moment, every 1/1000th of a second, like that is a moment that will never come back. It's spiritual. And so I try to fill up that moment with as much spiritual positivity as I could. I want to learn from the moment. And yeah, so photography for me is loving people. Yeah, loving and learning people.
All right, that's gonna do it. It's been a great day in the Bronx, hanging out with Daniel. Daniel, let the people know where they can show you some love.
Yeah, so you could find me on Instagram, Daniel Emuna, DANIEL, EMUNA. Check out my website. I have some books coming out this year. I have a zine on masculinity coming out very soon. I'm trying to get the Carnival project out this year. We'll see, but that's a published work that I want to see happen. But hopefully that comes out soon. There will be a gallery though. So around Carnival this year in New York, Labor Day parade, around that time, August, September, I will have a gallery where you will get to see some printed works from my Carnival experience. And yeah, thank you for walking around the Bronx with me, Paulie. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Again, it's a big borough, a lot of people, a lot of different cultures and stories, and it's hard to condense it in a video, but you know, you gotta come out here yourself and experience it. Take your camera, connect with people, just have a good time, spend time. We out.
All right, go show them some love, everybody.
Peace.
Now when they see us in the streets, all they wanna do is take pics, and I'm like, okay.